Wherever you are, welcome to another of my takes on China, and questions about life in China abounded when I posted my living under communism video. So I suspect that this is going to be an even longer than a short series, which is what I thought. Here's another of them. I was asked, since you've lived in China for some time, please comment on the cultural changes of domestic Chinese romantic comedy drama, both historical and current, specifically physical contact, gender issues, and marital norms. If you see changes, how would you describe or how would you explain and describe them? Well, it's a great question, but I'm not the best person to answer it. However, I'm gonna have a go. First, let me explain why I'm not the best person to answer this question. Simple. I don't have a TV. I'm sorry, I don't watch Chinese dramas at all. I don't watch any dramas. When I first came to China, I didn't have the language skills to do this. And now, I probably have marginally reached the language skills, but I have absolutely no interest in romantic comedy or drama shows in any language. So I'm definitely not the best person to ask about that kind of thing. I'm very sorry about that. However, marital norms here are that there are divorces, but they aren't as common in the West. As a teacher, I often asked my classes how many had divorced parents, and the answer was usually none. In Australia, it would be the other way around. The answer would normally be that there isn't a family that isn't affected by this. So it's a very interesting disparity. Gender issues in China, much more traditional and conservative. Although gay and lesbian couples exist, they are not persecuted, they're never prosecuted, and they get all the protections of people who are not gay or lesbian. There's no special law to protect them or anyone else who might be described as vulnerable, such as the physically or intellectually disabled. The laws protect every person in China equally. There's no gay marriage law here, so gay people can be in a relationship, but they can't legally marry. And this is not a government issue. The government follows the will of the people. It's a societal issue. Many parents are ashamed if they have a gay son or a daughter. Some are not, and are quite open about it. The world's largest gay dating app is in China, so it's clearly not a problem with law. It's a problem with traditional culture and a conservative society that's not ready to change yet. In fact, the link I provided here is a very good read about the dating app scene in China. The other aspect of gender issues is how many are there? And an easy answer in China is there are only two genders. You are male or you are female. You can identify as whatever you want, but on your official forms, you are one or the other. You can refuse to answer, but if you want a driving license, a passport, an ID card replacement, or any other official document, you are either M or F, or the characters for it. There are clinics for people who have a genuine issue with this and have been born into the wrong gender. And it is possible to change. This is inherent in the hukou system, where when you look at the application form for the household registration, you have the option of change address, change gender. But you can only change if you've actually transitioned from one to the other, not because you identify as the other. As for changes to the acceptance, since I came to China, I've noticed there are many more gay people. I have friends living in same-sex relationships, but I don't think it's something that people will openly boast about. It's just something that is. It is what it is. My wife and I have many gay friends. We accept them openly, and as far as I know, they're all accepted happily by their own parents. My wife's oldest gay friend is a man. She's known him since they shared an apartment about 30 years ago. Whilst he was open about his sexuality among his friends, he pretended he was not gay for a very long time when he was with his family. In fact, he once asked my wife to come home with him to Anhui for Chinese New Year, and she pretended to be his girlfriend. Nowadays, she's met those parents since then, and they all know the full story and laugh about it when they meet. It's not an issue anymore, but it was for him more than them. As for my own views on it, I know my daughter won't mind me saying this. She knows that on the day she told me she was never going to be having another boyfriend, I was very pleased. She'd finally accepted what most of us in the family had suspected for a long time. I also have a brother. He's married or is in a relationship that is registered to the same man and has been since before I came to China. And I know he won't mind me telling you this either. So my views are well known in my family and in my friend circles. I'm very happy to see both of my brother and my daughter happy. And although she's still single, if my daughter decides she wants to marry, I'll be the proudest dad, running to wherever the wedding is to give her away to her bride. That will probably be the only traditional part of anything my daughter will ever allow me to do in terms of her relationships. So I don't know if this answers your questions, but it's the extent of my experience, and if I can, I'm going to try and get someone from the Chinese gay or lesbian community onto the channel for a more in-depth conversation and some personal experience that they would know a lot more about than me. In fact, if you're watching this and you are, or you know someone in that community who would be willing to come on the channel and talk about their life in China, not their sexuality per se, I'd love to hear from you or them. Thanks once again for watching, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.